guys, I'm headed down to the garden. We are getting some really, really cold weather coming up in the next few nights and then over the weekend too. So I'm gonna go down and see what I can harvest. I'm not sure if my brassicas are gonna be able to handle this cold. And in the in-ground garden, that's where most of those are growing. So I wanna try to get some up just in case I might lose them. Those are mostly my cabbages and stuff. Now we're only forecasted to get down to 13 degrees. Some parts of the country are getting down much colder than that. So I guess we should be, kind of considering ourselves lucky. I do also have some carrots down in the garden here and some parsley and leeks and things like that, but they should be fine. My garlic will be just fine. So let's see what these cabbages have and see if they're big enough to harvest and kind of decide what I want to do from there. See, he looks too small. He's kind of small too. Let's just keep going down this row and looking. This guy might be good. I think that this is one of my favorite cabbages this year. I had not grown the Seavoy cabbage yet, which is basically just like a curly leaf cabbage. And I really, really like this. A lot of my late flat Dutch cabbages that I was harvesting on the other row, they really did not get as big as they did last year. And so I'm not sure if my soil is lacking or what's going on, but I'm gonna have to figure something out because they're just not big. They should give me really, really big heads, and I'm only getting kind of medium, small sized off of them right now. Over the last couple weeks also, we have been getting a ton of rain. I think we ended up getting like 3 inches of rain on one day, and then we had a whole nother day of rain. I did have some erosion down in my garden. It kind of sits on a slope. And last year I had horrible erosion where the waters would come down from the pasture and they would just, take all of my soil and run it into my walkways and everything. This year, because I have the cover crops, it's not that bad. I just have this one really bad area, and you can kind of see where the water has washed that soil down into the next row and kind of made some really deep channels. But I also didn't have any cover crop in that area. So that kind of explains why that happened. So I'll make sure that I always have cover crop down here in the winters just to protect against that, because I end up losing a ton of soil. I'm gonna grab some carrots too while I'm down here. I bring these things up and then the kids go crazy. This bed has not been super great for me, but I have another bed on the other side of the garden that's been producing really good sized carrots. That one's not too bad, but this guy's kind of little. This is really my first year at being successful with carrots. If y'all have watched the channel at all over the past few months, you may have heard me say that I really didn't start gardening until 2020 when everything kind of went crazy in the world and I felt like I needed to grow food for my family. So I've been pretty successful for only gardening for a short period of time, but carrots were something that I just was not great with. But this year I did something different. I went ahead and amended my raised beds that I was planting the carrots in. I put about 1.5 to 2 cubic feet of peat moss in there, and then I also added in some vermiculite, and that has that has grown me some amazing carrots this year. So I did 3 beds of carrots. I have one bed that I started first, and that's down at the other end of the garden, and that one's giving me really good sized carrots. This one's starting to catch up here, and then I have another one that was sown a little bit later. So hopefully we'll just be able to get carrots out of the garden for the rest of the winter. I'm not sure how my cabbage is gonna fare after this freeze though, but the carrots should be just fine. So you may be wondering what we do with our animals when it gets this cold. And luckily we are not getting down into the negative numbers. I don't think we've ever experienced that low of a temperature since we've been here, but there's definitely places that do. This is typically where our pigs stay when we are raising them. Now luckily we do not have pigs right now on the property. I have a whole freezer full of pork. We have already processed those pigs, but we will be getting some more pigs over the summer. And so we raise them for about 5 months, and then when it starts to get cold, that is when we process the pigs. So we don't have to worry about them. But if we did have pigs right now, and this is really a mess, we have to come in and clean this up. But if we did have pigs, the only thing that we would be doing is just making sure that they had plenty of fresh bedding, and we would be coming down and refreshing their water with warm water, just to make sure that nothing was frozen. So let's walk over here to the goats and see how they're doing. Hi, girls. So the goats are gonna be pretty much the same care in this cold weather as pigs would be if we had them. We just make sure that they have a nice thick layer of straw in their house, and we make sure that we come down in the morning with a good hot bucket of water and refresh their water. We will check on them if it's really cold during the day, but we're supposed to sit in the 40s and maybe even up into the 50s. It's just at night that we're dropping down. So these guys should be fine. They've got their winter coats on. They're nice and fluffy, especially Honey. She's very, very fluffy right now. So they should fare just fine with this weather. Chickens, hi. I've got some food for you. Hi guys. These are our Delaware chickens. They're our dual purpose egg layers and meat birds. So we kind of have our own meat stock on the property. Oh, you guys got a lot of that. Okay, watch out, rooster. Oh, he's got spaghetti on him. Now, as far as the chickens go, we only really do one extra step for them, in addition to making sure that they have good bedding and nice warm water in the morning when we come out. And that is just simply to close the door on their coop. Now, they do have some really good ventilation up at the top of the coops, which probably just lets all that heat out. But with all of the chickens inside the coop and kind of locked in there, it just sort of ensures that they're going to stay a little bit warmer. So that's really the only extra thing that we do for the chickens. And they should be fine. A lot of people get really worried about frostbite and all of those things, but in South Carolina, we're really not getting that cold. I mean, 13 degrees is cold, but it's not like -20. I've seen some people that are just really, really getting low, and I'm really glad that I'm not there. So there's not a whole lot going on outside this time of year, just the daily animal chores. The garden's super slow, there's no bug pressure. There are some weeds that could be weeded, but not a whole lot of work down there either. Just because, though, there's not a lot outside going on doesn't mean there's not a lot inside going on. So we've been finding a whole bunch of good deals through some restaurant supply places on bulk food that we've been able to preserve. Not only the food preservation, but we're also having to prep for this upcoming season. So that means getting my seed starting area ready, processing everything that has been stored in there, and just all that stuff. Like I said, we're not getting as cold as some of you, so I hope you all stay nice and bundled up and that your animals stay warm. And guys, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next one.